Welcome. I am Dr. Jerry Nolan, and this is Love is the Answer. In today's segment, we will examine how we love our students through enthusiasm. It is the human element, our joy, our enthusiasm, that breathes life into every lesson that we teach. A book, a program, a device, they can't do that. It's our joy, our enthusiasm that helps students say yes to learning, and by extension, yes to life. I've worked with some really fabulous teachers over the year whose enthusiasm just set their classrooms on fire. First, I want to talk about Mr. Baltz, my high school biology teacher. One of the first days in class, we were studying asexual reproduction, where one cell splits into two. And I was there with my lab partner, Billy Nolan. We kind of looked through and probably were jacking around and yeah, okay. And Mr. Baltz comes over and he says, "Do you see it?" We guys, "Yeah, we see it." And then he looked into my eyes with that sort of half craze on a half a bubble off, and he said, "But do you see it?" Unnerved the heck out of me. I didn't know quite what to say, and I'm kind of stumbling, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes and he looks in our microscope, comes up, catches me with that same look and goes, "Life! Life! You're seeing the creation of new life! There was one, now there's two!" Scared the dickens out of us. We thought he had snapped. And then he goes and he dances around from microscope to microscope, lab group to lab group, singing the praises of life. Honestly, you'd have thought we'd just witnessed the Big Bang. But that was Mr. Baltz. He loved what he taught. He was on fire for it. And not only did he love it, he lived it. And he was just joyous about his teaching, but joyous about his life. When he was in the summers, he would go, we lived in Wisconsin, in the summers he would go to Colorado and plant trees. One year he took time off from school to go to Belize. This is the 1970s. This is way before Belize was a thing. And he showed people how to grow fish. When we had the first Earth Day in 1970, you would have thought it was a combination of Christmas, Easter, Hanukkah, and Ramadan. We just had to get into it, and we went out and we spent time building an outdoor classroom, and he sang the praises of the environment. That's just how he was. And Mr. Baltz never had any problem with student engagement because his classroom was always on fire. He was filled with enthusiasm. He was filled with joy. He was a great model, not only for the joy in teaching, but how to live life with joy and enthusiasm. Not only did he love what he taught, he lived it. The second teacher I'd like to talk about is Mr. Mike Harden. He was a science teacher in a school in Wisconsin where I was the principal, and he was a carbon copy of Mr. Baltz. He was right on every day. He was joyous every day. He was the kind of guy, when I was kind of down and out, I would go and watch Mr. Harden teach. And that always brought me back to the grounding of why I'm in education. It was because I get to work with people like Mr. Harden. One day I pulled him aside and I said, "Mike, I've seen you teach scores of times and you are always excited. You are always right on." And one of the things I learned from him was, he said, "I don't feel like that every day. When I get up, I don't feel like doing this every day. And I got to go through a lot of self-talk because I know that if I'm not excited about it, the students aren't going to be. If they aren't excited about it, they aren't going to learn." And so Mike spent a good deal of time stoking his own fires of joy and enthusiasm so that he could share it with others. That was a great learning for me. One of the students one time said to me, You know, Mr. Harden can even make fungus interesting. Note, the student did not say, fungus is interesting. What the student said was, Mr. Harden can make fungus interesting. And he could, because part of his professional walk was stoking those fires of joy and enthusiasm every day. That's it. Thank you for watching. You can read a companion blog to this video on our website, drjerrynolan.com. Please follow us on our YouTube channel, Love is the Answer, and on our Facebook page. Until next time, on behalf of me and my family, we wish you an abundance of peace and love.